Hey, Malboro. Is he gonna do his thing? He sure is. So, basically, Malboro can, go between flying and not flying. And he'll actually, do a little check at the start of every fight. And basically, he'll occasionally just immediately start flying. It's a specific thing that he does. I think it's 50-50. When he does this, he makes himself immune to Earth, weak to wind, standard stuff. I mean, I say standard stuff, but it actually is like a specific part of his function to do that. When he's on the ground, he is not immune to ground, and he is not weak to wind. Which not every enemy in this game does when they have a flying state. Sometimes they get lazy and they're just always weak to wind and immune to Earth. But otherwise, he just kind of slowly alternates between the two farts. And other than that, check here. I believe his bad breath is, specifically a counter. But otherwise, we can just, sit here and let him do his things. When he's flying, he can use a physical attack. He can also just go back down. He has his Osmos attack, obviously. Which is stupidly strong. Really, dude? Well, there goes Steiner's MP. Steiner's magic defense is quite low, so he just loses all of his MP instantly, basically. There's the Thundaga, which won't do that much. She's decently tanky at this point. I do find it funny that because of the nature of where I'm fighting these guys, you're just going to see the timer in the corner the whole time. Okay, he's going to start flying again. Nice crit, jeez. There's the virus tentacles. He missed. I believe he has one other attack we haven't seen. Well, I mean, obviously he also has the bad breath, but that's used as like a counter when he's low on HP, specifically. Man, Gwen has been missing a lot lately. Zidane might actually get slightly more hurt by that. Oh, never mind, he's good. Jeez, he's just really using Thundaga a lot, huh? Let me check here. Yeah, so basically if he's on the ground and he has, I believe it's less than a fifth of his max HP, he'll use Bad Breath on the person who attacked him, basically. He can also use an attack called Absorb, although it seems to be kind of rare based on how this is, because it's like a specific thing he has to be done, like, he has to be in a specific phase of the fight, and it's not a common thing for him to do even then. Instead, he likes to just spam Osmos. Give him a stab, come on. Boo, 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 doo. Okay, he's flying again. Gonna stab him with Dagger and Quina for a little while, I guess. He's actually almost gonna die. Surely, there's the Absorb. Oh, that put Steiner into trance. That's funny. Let's see how much HP this guy actually has. If it wasn't obvious, you can eat this guy for Bad Breath, by the way. But you can see how Malboro actually using Bad Breath in this game is quite rare, because he has to be like low on HP and like it's like used as like a counter. He also only uses it when he's on the ground, I believe, so the fact that I'm stabbing when he's in the air is not helping. So I think now is he gonna Osmos, or is he gonna... No, he's just gonna keep absorbing, huh? I mean, Dagger doesn't care too much about that because she has auto regen. There we go. Give him a slap. There's more Thundaga, whoop-de-woo. Is he really just, like, not gonna bad breath? Come on, Quina! There we go. It's also not particularly threatening because of that, because since he only uses it when he's low on HP, it's pretty easy to just be like, oh no. That's terrible anyways, and then you just kill him. With Steiner's insane attack, goddamn. Alright, we got one other guy I'm gonna show off, and then we're done. And by we're done, I mean we're done with the random encounters. You know how it is. Man, look at that big fat chin is. It's Shell Dragon, hooray! You can see where I'm fighting this guy too, because I'm in the the room, as it were. Anyway, Shell Dragon is mostly pretty simple. Let me see here. Yeah. I should have gone into this fight actually with auto regen. I didn't even think about that. Because this guy has a weird thing. Oh, actually, Quina does have auto regen, so I'm kind of curious about that. Let's just stab him with Quina for a little bit here. Well, he got snorted. I'm guessing that probably just gets... It's kind of funny he got healed even while he was getting blown away. Because for some reason, Shell Dragon, when he uses his snort counter, he also, like... in fact, it specifically says that he sets the target to someone who, you know, isn't gonna die, right? So, you know, he checks for all the Doom, Gradual Petrify stuff, but he also checks for, like, regen and auto regen and zombie for some reason. You know, even actually, more specifically, he checks for someone who has both regen and zombie, which is a bit of a, as you can imagine, that's quite odd. Given that he can't inflict zombie, and you can't get here with zombie at all. There's nobody in Terra that inflicts zombie as far as I'm aware of. So it's like completely pointless to check for. But I guess the idea would be that he wouldn't bother blowing someone away who's going to get healed to death by auto regen. Which is a funny thing to check, but like, why? You know what I mean? It's a cool idea, but, you know, why is this on a monster that can't zombie you? You can't even come into this fight with zombie. Like, it's so funny. That's literally it, though. Otherwise, he just attacks randomly. So, anyways, we're just gonna run away, and we'll see you for the next guy. Hey, look, it's Abaddon. I started recording this one late because I wasn't expecting this one to actually show up. Abaddon doesn't actually have anything we haven't really seen. Because, he literally just uses random attacks. Like, it's just that straightforward. But I did want to point out, in this instance, two things. So, first of all, surprisingly, his high wind attack, you know, despite the name, is not a wind elemental attack. It is a non-elemental attack that's just a physical hit everyone attack. It does not have any sort of element attached to it, so... And so you can see that it's gonna do, you know, do its damage. I forget if I have anyone set up to absorb wind, so I guess I can't remember if I actually am showing it off or not, but I also wanted to point out something I actually totally forgot about, and that's the fact that, whatchamacallit, how do you pronounce this? The you know what I mean, the flying horsey mutant horse unicorn guy, the Amdusias. The Amdusias? I think that's how you pronounce it. I forgot that you can't encounter this guy in Pandemonium. He's only during the one scripted You're Not Alone sequence, which is a bit of an outlier. So that means that horse enemy can only be encountered in scripted encounters in this game. There is no random encounter with it, so which makes its usage of level 4 Holy even weirder, actually, because it means that the only time it can use that attack is when you're fighting it in Trino. So it can use a group attack against one character, which is kind of funny in some ways. Like, you have to wonder, you know, what's up with that. I don't remember which ones we've seen, so I'll just use Solution 9. This might not kill it because I don't remember if I've attacked it yet. I guess since we're here, we'll show off the other ones. I'm pretty sure I've used Meal Twister, but I guess let's just try Stellar Circle. Slash. But yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Anyways, what do we have left? All of those different, like... You know, I didn't even realize it, but Stellar Circle is especially obvious with the Terra symbol, because it's like literally like the same sort of animation that the teleporters use. So I guess there's another, you know, point of reference for Zidane being from Terra. So let me think. So we gotta do the boss rush, and we also gotta show up all the different dialogue that can pop up. So I'll get on that at some point. I'm thinking about recording this in separate chunks, but you know, I guess you're not gonna see that. So anyways, you know, see ya when I see ya. Man, I love that battle intro transition camera thingy bingy. Okay, it's been like a week since I did the other stuff. I ended up not being able to do everything in one day because, you know, that's how it goes. But anyways, Silver Dragon, you know, the famed Silver Dragon that Kuja rides. But I'm assuming this is just a completely different one because that wouldn't really make any sense otherwise. Silver Dragon here is pretty straightforward as a boss, right? It has like the weaknesses you would expect it to have. It's weak because it is in fact a flying guy. It is in fact weak to wind. It's also weak to ice because it's a dragon, which is a pretty common thing in this game. This is like the one Final Fantasy game that actually has like the pretty consistent trait that dragons are weak to ice. Most of the other Final Fantasy games actually don't really have that. Obviously, he's immune to Earth because he's flying. One notable thing is that this guy is weak to silence and darkness, so you can in fact blind and silence him. And just like with every other dragon in this game, he is also able to be put to sleep. I do not have a sleep user with me at the moment, but we can try to blind and silence this guy. So let's do that. Because if you're having trouble with these fights, status is definitely a great way to go. Hey, nice. Because, like, with Blind and Silence on this guy, he's kind of, like, heavily neutered. And you can just stabby him. I mean, I said that, but Shockwave still hits everyone, and this doesn't miss, so... Owie. But, you know, if he uses his regular attack, it doesn't do much, and, you know... You can't use Twister. Twister is his big hit move that'll, like... Alright? Like, remember last time? Freaking one-shot dagger. Like, geez Louise, man. Very funny. But that's what happens when you have an attack that does random damage and just ignores defense. Like, yeah, it can just sometimes kill you. Here we go! That's the attack we never got to see last time. It's not even that rare of a move. He uses it as... Like, he should use it actually more than the other moves. Like, the moves you'll see the most is Claw, and then Shockwave and Aerial Slash have equal odds, and then Twister is his rare move. Other than that, like, yeah, just stabby stab. There's not much to this guy. There is one notable thing about this guy, but I won't mention it right now. I'll save it for a later boss. How much damage we do, though. And then, hey, there's the can't cast. So this boss, notably, if he tries to cast Twister when he's silenced, he just won't. He'll, like, fail. He'll, like, waste his turn. So... Like, especially another reason why it's so, like, good. It's because it makes him waste his turn. But yeah, this is also just kind of a showcase of, like, yeah, like, when we're, like, Freya and Zidane both have, you know, their anti-killer, their killer ability on, and Freya also has MP attack. So, like, you can see, like at this point in the game, with everything stacked up, physical characters do a ridiculous amount of damage. Like, Freya was doing 6,000 damage, like, and then Zidane's doing 4,000, and Zidane doesn't have MP attack on. Anyways, here's Garland. I don't even need to cut because it's such a short interlude between. Garland is a little more interesting, although he has kind of, funny enough, kind of the same things going on in the Silver Dragon. But we'll show off it a bit. So we've seen all of Garland's attacks, so that's not an issue there. I'm gonna try to do the same thing that I did for Silver Dragon, because Garland is both vulnerable to silence and blind. So let's see if we can land these. Hey, we got the silence off. I should mention, because Garland is, you know, just a regular looking dude, obviously Man-Eater works, but he does not have any elemental weaknesses. And he's only vulnerable to blind and silence, but, you know, being vulnerable to blind and silence is pretty interesting. In fact, that's kind of what I like about this boss little gauntlet. Like silence is not a very common status for bosses to be vulnerable throughout the series. I've definitely talked about this before, but this game actually has quite a few of these random bosses that you can just silence, and it kind of neuters the hell out of them. But Garland is pretty cool because he's not necessarily a boss that you want. Wow, I've actually had pretty good luck so far, huh? Garland is not necessarily a boss you want to inflict silence to, because unlike a lot of bosses, like for example with Silver Dragon we just fought, right? Silver Dragon is dumb and will just waste its turns casting spells it can't actually cast. Garland is not dumb. Garland is smart enough to specifically, like, when you've silenced him, he will no longer cast Flare and Stop. So, locking him out of his Flare and Stop spell is pretty good, right? Because obviously that restricts his attacks, but it also means he won't waste his turns using Stop with Locomotion. Like, since we have Locomotion equipped, Stop would, you know, act as a turn waster. However, since both Wave and Psychokinesis can miss, if you can also inflict Blind on him using either a Tent or just Garnet, silencing is still obviously very effective, and we can even show this off here. Garland also will specifically avoid casting Flare and Stop on characters that have Reflect. You can see here, though, that once you have both Blind and Silence on, Garland is pretty heavily crippled. These aren't supposed to be particularly difficult fights, though, is the thing. Like, they're more story fights. For better or for worse. So, I mean, if you're disappointed by the fact that these aren't that hard, I mean, I get it. But, like, that's just kind of how it is. These are more just I guess in a way it kind of makes sense. Even though Garland, I never really imagined him as being particularly strong as a character, or like, you know what I mean. Like, he himself is not a powerful warrior. He's just got access to a lot of resources to do shit with, which is kind of what I imagined from him. Because, yeah, he just has his 4 attacks. He uses them all, like, equal odds. It's literally just, he just picks one of his attacks to use, and that's it. And Silencing will block him out of his magic spells, and then he'll just spam Wave and Psychokinesis. Ow! Damn, that actually hurts Freya quite a bit. Things will get a little more funny, I guess, once we get to Garland, or to Kuja. I don't remember. I forget if Psychokinesis can miss. Let's see. I haven't seen it miss yet, so I'm inclined to say it can't. But Wave can miss, obviously. I'm jumping just to, like, kind of show off, like, yeah. Here comes the wave! And it missed. To show off the difference, too, like, with all these MP, or, like, all these killer abilities equipped on Freya, it's actually weaker for her to jump. Oh, here comes the Psychokinesis. Oh, is it about to be Freya? Damn, that's timing. She just gets smashed for half of her HP. And now I can't heal. And Garland's almost certainly gonna die here, right? Because Ziding's about to poke him. Oh, he's still alive. Wow. Garland has a bit more HP than I thought. Let me check here. He is, oh, wow. He has almost 40... He has 40,000 HP. I did not realize his HP was that high. That's actually quite impressive. He's also obviously fairly fast, as you can see. He kind of attacks pretty often. It is funny that he gets taken out like Carnado, people. Anyways, we're gonna go super speed here for a second. Because it does some stuff. Whoa, Kuja, wow. Kuja is kind of, once again, Kuja's pretty straightforward. But Kuja does have one interesting thing that I kind of alluded to last time. Oops. I did not mean to click that button. I am bad at clicking on stuff. So Kuja can be blinded, but it doesn't do much for him because he only uses magic. So blinding Kuja only makes it so that he can't dodge your attacks anymore, which itself is not terrible. I suppose. Let's see what he does here. So obviously when he uses magic, he'll either use Thundaga or Demi. However, Kuja does have one very funny thing to him. And you know, just like with Garland's no weaknesses, he has a bit more magic defense. I think Garland did too, actually. Let me just quickly double check on that. I think they both had higher magic defense than usual. Yeah, they both have magic defense of 24, so magic is a little weaker against these guys than physical attacks, which certainly helps. And yeah, like his attack, Kuja's attack list is literally just a Thundaga Demi. It's like one of the smallest attack lists in the game. I mean, it's about as small as it gets, because if a character only has one attack, they're not going to bother with an attack list. So there's two ways to get Kuja to change his attack pattern. If you drain his MP, then he obviously can't cast magic anymore, and he'll use his other attack. But you can also cast Reflect, just like with Garland. If you cast Reflect on everyone, when Kuja attempts to use a magic spell on a character that has Reflect on him, he will swap to his other attack. In this case, he will use Flare Star. Flare Star is kind of why you don't want to use Reflect during this fight, because Flare Star is very strong. Hits everyone for damage based. For reference sake, freaking Dagger and Ico almost just got wiped out. Jesus Christ. And now I'm gonna just like sit here and let them stall with auto reflect and auto regen. That's kind of funny, actually. Flare Star can miss. It's worth noting. It's one of the very few types of magic damage in this game that's capable of missing. But it's very strong, and it doesn't miss often, is kind of the thing. Also, as you can see, Flare Star can kind of screw you. If you get stuck into this loop of like trying to resurrect these characters and then Kuja just keeps spamming Flare Star, you can kind of get screwed. So like if you come into this fight, especially with auto reflect on, you kind of just like, you can just lose like instantly basically if you aren't ready. Like if you're ready for this fight, it's not a big deal, but Kuja can mess you up something bad. So for reference sake, Flare Star actually does damage based on your level. It's kind of it's like signature whatchamacallit. It's Kuja's signature ability basically. He's the only character that uses this. Well, okay, Kuja and one other character uses this, but the other character that uses it is like a, you know, kind of a big deal also, so it makes sense. But the damage it does is based on your level, and it actually can't talk today. What the basis of I guess what the base damage of it is, you know, depends on who you're fighting. If you are fighting regular Kuja, it is level times 40. But other characters actually have different values. One character you fight later actually has a lower value, but you know, they don't care if you're reflected or not. They'll just use it anyways. And another character has a higher multiplier for Flare Star. Regardless, Flare Star is very strong, as you can see, and it can very easily just wipe your party. Especially because since it does damage based on your level, characters with low HP, like your mages, tend to kind of get heavily like crippled by it because it can do a lot of damage to them. So like it is not worth bothering trying to reflect Flare Star against this guy. Although I guess if you use it right away, you can get away with it. I guess that's because once again, it's because I guess it works a little differently in this game. In other Final Fantasy games, the attack they use is determined the instant their turn comes, like the instant they do their attack. But I guess with certain things like this, if you use auto, like I set reflect on everyone, and then Garland did his Kuja attacked right after. I guess he was still ready to react to not having flare on everyone. That's my best guess. You can see, like, for example, it does almost 15,000 damage to Aiko, and she has only a little bit more HP than that. I do have Reflect Null on Dagger because I, you know, foresaw this. Forsooth this. But yeah, Flare Star is a big deal. And like, especially if you walk into this fight with Auto Reflect, you can, like, and you aren't ready for this, like, it's just like... It's kind of hard because, like, it's difficult for healers to obviously heal when you have Auto Reflect on, unless you, like, already thought to put, you know, Reflect Null on everyone. It's a spicy fight specifically if you try to cheese it, but otherwise it's fine. Which is kind of a funny result of this. Because Thundog and Demi are very, like, Demi especially is very weak because it does, you know, damage based on your max HP. So it'll never kill anyone that's, unless they're at, like, low HP. And, like, it takes, like, 3 hits to kill anyone, basically, if they're at full HP. So Demi especially is very weak. Like, even if it uses it on a character with low HP, well, it does damage based on their HP. So, like, oh no, 690 damage, nice. Hit him with the 6,900. That's funny. Thundoggo's a little stronger, especially because, like, the base power of it is actually pretty strong, but it's still, like, not that strong. Like, it's doing 1,000 to the Zide. And to be fair, I have equipment set up on everyone to specifically avoid having to do too much damage, but it's still, like, all of its attacks that aren't Flare Star are single target. And Demi can miss, too. It's like, man, Demi sucks. I'm almost surprised they don't make Kuja, like, multicast Demi on everyone at least. But, yeah. That's about it, because there's nothing else to talk about. Oh wait, there is actually one thing I totally forgot. Damn it, I'll have to check that after. That's fine though. It'll take me like a minute to do this. Because there's a text box that happens when after you like smash Kuja a bit. And like Dagger specifically talks during that because he's talking about her mother. So I wonder who reacts if Dagger's not here. Anyways, yeah, he goes Ultima and he knocks out your party. He doesn't kill them because they just get, you know, thrown down to the ground. But I'm referencing that specifically because of another sequence later I would like to point out. But we'll get there when we get there. Anyways, see you guys. Well, I'm not talking anymore. But I'll have to do like one more thing. Anyways. So I think it's funny that his dialogue doesn't actually change at all if Dagger's not there. He still is like, your mother, ha 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 ha. But like, Dagger's not here, so it doesn't, like, it's kind of slightly funny sounding. But yeah, that'll be it for this half part. See you next time for Disc 4. Oh yeah, there's still so much that I haven't gotten to talk about, man. Oh boy.